shout out to this episode, because when I tell you that episode 2 provided so much context for that weak ass, goofy ass, doofy ass fight that they had in episode 1. What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another Sweet Life video. Sweet Life LA to be specific, season 2. This video is going to be breaking down episode 2, which was half the size of episode number 1, and really just focused on clarifying a huge ass fight that happened. So let's go ahead and just get into it. It's interesting to me, this narrative everybody's running with about how Ty doesn't hold herself accountable and her friends don't hold her accountable. The first thing that we get when we see Ty on screen with Jaylenn in this episode, she takes responsibility for wanting to hurt Rob because she was hurt, and she should not have said that he was a weak 8, you know, and she just shouldn't have said the things that she said. She literally says that. So I'm just like, but this is the girl who don't take accountability for the things that she do and say? Oh, okay. Are we going to take accountability, Rob, for how drunk we were? And while, you know, the point that you were making about anti-Ty was not saying that you were trying to be anti-Ty, in the moment of the argument, you were yelling it so that it's easy to perceive that you're saying we anti-Ty, and she has this visceral response because of that. The person who I feel the worst for is Amanda. This episode was really powerful because they did a really great job of showing the conflict, the tension, and the strain that Amanda is feeling, being put in the middle between her boyfriend and probably the love of her life currently, because she talks about how deeply she loves him a lot in this episode, and her best friend for 23 years. Like, I would hate to be Amanda right now, and if I'm gonna be honest, I probably would be making worse, because I would be cussing both of them out, and they would both think that I was on the other side, because I would just be so irritated with the fact of, like, we are literally family and y'all doing this goofy ass shit. Like, you don't do this in mixed company, and all these other little whack ass, shadow ass people who are at this party, who are not 10 toes down with us, like we're 10 toes down with each other. Like, Rob, Amanda, Ty, and Jaylenn, they the solid ones. They the ones who are, like, no offense to everybody else who's trying to make it and do some nice things and grow their businesses and grow themselves or whatever. To me, they taking baby steps. Meanwhile, those 4 are taking huge leaps. And I feel like they have brought the most substance to the show in the first season. And it's clear that they have a very strong bond and they have created a family for themselves. Another reason why I love that is because specifically in LA, even though all these people are from LA, specifically in LA, if you're not from here, well, Rob isn't. You need that. Like, you need to create a family unit for yourself to help propel yourself forward and keep you going in the moments where the shit gets hard and shit gets real. So I am so, like, watching this, like, family unit fall apart, watching Amanda and Rob have the conversation that they had. I was like, oh Lord, like, they didn't even kiss each other when they first seen each other. And I felt like they were the most well, actually, I think Tylynn and Jaylenn and Rob and Amanda, they both are, like, just very solid couples. And to see Rob and Amanda on kind of shaky ground in this episode, I was like, oh my word. I definitely felt all of the tension, all of the conflict through the screen. What I do think, though, is that they're all going to get through this. Like, I appreciate that Ty does take accountability. She does own up to saying the things that she said and that she should not have said them. All of them were drunk. So we also do have to take that into consideration. Now we need to add into our pocket of, like, some do's and don'ts. Like, there needs to be a little jar, and I have, like, a little metaphorical jar, right, where I put things that just should not be let out with specific people. And it's like, if you find out that someone that you really love and care about, your friend, damn near your family, your friend turned sister, your friend turned brother, something triggers them, a word triggers them, a situation triggers them, that becomes a thing that you put in the jar and you bury that hole. So this, you should never, Tylynn, you need to never, ever, ever string together the words weak ass Negro and direct them joints towards Rob. That goes into the jar that never gets said again. You're dead to me needs to be in a jar, period, girl, because I don't even understand how that came out in the moment that you were in. I didn't think it was that deep. For me, you're dead to me comes up when you have almost ended my life or attempted to end my life, not because you throwing a temper tantrum saying anti-Ty at a party and we're all drunk, but, you know, Sometimes we jump out the window and we get really emotional. I think Ty cop to that. Ty cop to like being deeply, deeply hurt and feeling blindsided by Rob. And I really want people to hear her out. Like, this is what I want men to do more of like, Rob, did you respond and amp up the way that you did because you got hurt with her saying these things? Because I need you to say that. Like, it's not just out of pocket. It's not just disrespectful. Let's talk about it on an interpersonal level of how it affects you at your core. It hurt me. I am deeply moved negatively by it, because those are the things that better humanizes our experiences and degeneralizes them and makes them specific to us so that people can actually feel you. Like, yeah, you can feel when somebody says, oh, I was disrespected, but in this day and age, you could be disrespected by any damn thing, honestly, from the deepest disrespect to like some little light stuff that it was never meant to be offensive, but today you feel offended. So I would love to hear Rob speak to Ty and talk about how he was hurt. Speaking about men and like talking about their emotions and like showing what they feel, PJ cries in his confessional in this episode. And when I tell you, it has changed my view of him, not me, but it has changed how I see PJ. I was watching the scene as he goes to meet with his sister and his mom, and they're talking about, you know, what happened, all the drama, but then they also bring up that he recently lost an aunt that's like his mom, and he just seems so indifferent as he's talking about it, right? Like, no emotion on his face, but he's also saying like, this woman meant the world to me, she's tatted on me, like all of these things, and I'm just like, sir, I don't see it. But then when you get to the confessional and he's talking about it because the producer's asking deeper questions, and then he starts crying and he asks, can we stop? That is it. I don't know. Well, I do know why, right? Like, society has conditioned us to believe that men who show emotions are weaker, or men shouldn't show emotions. But this is the ticket every time, because at the end of the day, we are all human beings, and I don't give a damn what PJ did at this point. Like, y'all gonna have to release this, because this man just basically lost his second mom. So if he moving funny style, if he gets on an interview where he's trying to move forward with his damn business and he says, you know what, I don't really know where I stand with anybody right now, things are a bit crazy, I haven't talked to anybody since then, take it at face value for that, because he's also grieving a huge loss in his life, a huge loss. And in my opinion, my late 20s and early 30s is when I started losing the most people, and it was a devastating time where I didn't even know like up from down in moments. And PJ, I'm gonna go ahead and send you a little bit of condolences. One, for your loss. I'm sorry that you're feeling this deep loss. I'm sorry that you had to experience this. But also, I'm gonna send him over a little bit of an apology, because I be on his head in my mind. Before I even started doing these breakdowns, I was on his head, and like very dismissive of him as a person, but it was because I didn't actually get like person from him. He just seemed so indifferent, so guarded, so like, oh, no, nothing matter or whatever. And it's like, nah, we all out here living real ass human experiences. And yes, you're gonna mess up sometimes. And to me, the mess ups aren't the bad thing. It's what you do after. Like, do you care that you made somebody, you know, cry? Do you care that you hurt somebody's heart? Do you care that you put somebody in an awkward position? Because if you don't, now I got smoke for you. If you do, okay, I can quit that. And that's why I'm also not on Tylynn's head. Like, the moment that Tylynn said, yeah, I was wrong for that, I shouldn't have said this, I shouldn't have said that, I have nothing to critique her about. She's already self-reflected and critiqued herself. And that's what we got to get to in life, y'all. And I hate breaking down reality TV shows, because I'm talking about real people and I feel like it just feels like attacks. But I really enjoyed episode 2 and like how they were going about conflict resolution. I think that it's really dope. What I didn't enjoy was how Bree was kind of like gassing up Amanda to be like, yeah, that's not cool because that's your man and da 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 da. And it's like, girl, it's so much deeper than that. Like, I get what you're trying to say, but the way that she was articulating it, it just felt very catty. But I'm gonna go ahead and get off of Bree's head because she's young and she's trying to figure it out. I also didn't enjoy that bullshit ass date that she went on, that she shouldn't have went on from the very beginning, and she walks away from because she finds out that Ty and the boy had got set up at some point. And it's like, girl, that's the excuse that you use, but you wasn't into him from the beginning. Like, how about we stop taking dates from anybody who fucking asks us? How about that? Because you're better than that. And dude, you were definitely very weird. Like, you kept speaking on her beauty. You kept asking, can she take direction? This is the weirdo shit I'm talking about that men be on. Like, what is wrong with you? And this is, again, I mentioned this in my episode 1 breakdown. Like, you have nothing to bring up in conversation, but you can only speak on how beautiful it is or the view because you get to see behind her squatting. Like, grow the fuck up, niggas. Please. And I hate to use that word. I've been trying not to use that word on my channel, but I'm going to go ahead and let it ride. I'm not editing it out. Because you thirsty and you wag. Who is this guy? Who casted this man? Where's Patiri? Patiri, baby, we going to need you back. Can you bring it back? Shout out to Jaylenn. I didn't necessarily agree with him saying, you know, if you wouldn't have gotten all crazy, then I wouldn't have gotten crazy, because that's just who I am. Baby, we're going to go ahead and work on that, because you can work on how you respond as well. Ty is not responsible for your response. However, we understand how you went there. That's a reflection on you. Let's not put the blame on her. She's already taken accountability for what she did to Rob. Let's not put the added weight of controlling your response to her response on her shoulders as well, because that's kind of whack. I'm just gonna say it's a little bit whack, but I will say I do believe that Jaylenn is a real ass dude, and I respect him a lot. I respect his love and loyalty for Ty. I respect his commitment to what is their relationship and their growth, and then also he feels very much so like her friend, and that's what you want with male partnerships. So I enjoyed the scene with Ty and Jaylenn talking, and both of them taking accountability and really recounting what happened and addressing things and reflecting in a way that I felt was positive and progressive. More than men need to be able to get like that, but I digress, because Jerrold would never, but we didn't get to see him in this episode. I'm gonna go ahead and let it ride. All right, let me know in the comment section down below, what did you think of episode 2 of season 2 of Sweet Life LA? It's your good sis you love to talk TV with. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss out on any of my Sweet Life videos. And I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye.